Hey everybody, welcome to Hockey SKATEDOWN. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you want to join our hockey team, it's free. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell to all. Thank you all so much, and let's get started. I wanted to do a video on this. I came across a very interesting article that Jonas Siegel wrote for The Athletic, and I thought it's rather interesting. It sparked a lot of thought into what the Leafs can do with their roster this upcoming year. And I know a lot of Toronto Maple Leaf fans are always questioning, where's Thornton going to play? Where's Spezza going to play? Where's Kerfoot going to play? More thought is who's going to play with Matthews, because this article is very interesting and it delves deeper into the depth that Dubas created this offseason. So I want to get into what Jonas Siegel said. He said that, and this was an article where he was projecting Leafs lines. I wonder if the Leafs should experiment with a more balanced approach, the main crux of which would be removing Marner and Nylander from Matthews' side. I tend to think Matthews could score with just about anyone on his wings, and that he could elevate two lesser talents in the same way Crosby has done with players such as Sheary, Kunitz, and Hornqvist. And I thought this was really interesting. I like the whole comparison he made with Sidney Crosby. Yes, Crosby has done that with a lot of his players, and Matthews can do that as well. Matthews can score with about anybody. He's a phenomenal talent. He can score. He can do everything on the ice. And I really think that this is a very interesting thought process going into the next year. And this could really do something with a lot of the players that the Leafs have. It can change their mentality, having them play with different players, having to take a different approach rather than just pass the puck along to a Nylander or a Marner and have them do what they do and kind of just shimmy around, look for a spot, and then score. You know, when Matthews will be given more of a role with the line where he's the front runner of that line, you may see him do more things that you may not have seen in the past. You may see him go in more heavily into the forecheck. You may see him, go down deeper in the net and, puck battle a little bit more instead of, circling around trying to find an open area to score. You may see him do a little bit more, and I think this will elevate his game to the level where it breeds championships. When you have players that take on certain roles like that, and it will help other players' games too. It will help Nylander's game if he's playing with someone else that's newly acquired. I'll get to that in a little bit. But it's going to do a lot for the team. It added a lot of depth what Dubas did this offseason. I really like what he's done with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they're a really deep team. So I just want to go over certain players, because the Leafs do have a lot of interchangeable players that can play different positions. They can play left wing, they can play right wing, they can play center left wing, they can play center right wing. So let's go over a couple and see what interesting options they could be if Sheldon Keefe and the Toronto Maple Leafs elect to do this upcoming year. So looking at Kerfoot, and these are all listed per cap friendly. They show different positions of the players. Kerfoot shows that he could be a center left wing. Mikheyev can play the left wing or the right wing. Vesey can play left wing or right wing. Boyd could play center right wing. And Hyman could play left wing, right wing. So right then and there, those players alone shift the team around a lot. So when I'm going by what Jonas Siegel said and thinking of how the Leafs can construct their lines, can you see a possible line of Mikheyev, Matthews, and Hyman? I think that'd be an interesting line. You weigh the speed of Mikheyev. He's going to have a bounce back year from last year and dealing with that injury. I think he's going to go crazy this year. And, playing with Matthews, that'll really elevate his game, elevate his scoring ability. And I love what Hyman offers the team. He's just a workhorse on there. And he pitched in a lot this past season offensively when he came back from injury. So I like the dynamic of that line. You can have a second line of Kerfoot on the left side, Tavares in the middle, Marner on the right. Third line could be Robertson if he makes the squad. If he has a strong camp and everything, he makes the squad. You could have Thornton in the middle, Nylander on the right. And that'll really raise Nylander's game as well, too. Playing with a legend like Thornton, I think he's going to try to give it more of his all, be more involved in the play. And I think you'll definitely see a drastic shift in his game, too. And the fourth line could be Vesey, Spezza, and Simmons. And that's a really good fourth line. I love what Simmons offered. The Devils recently signed him this past year, the year before. And, at 1 year, $5 million wasn't that good. But what the Leafs got him for 1 year, $1.5 million, I think it's great. Both the player and the team wanted to do a deal this past offseason, and I really like what he's going to offer this team. He's going to add a lot to the locker room. He's going to add a lot to just the team in general. He's not going to be relying on scoring on goals. He's not going to pot a lot of goals. But what he's going to offer a lot of intangibles, his experience, his locker room persona, and all the guys on our team loved him when he played with us. They really loved what Simmons added to this team. He's a great team guy. He's a great team player. He'll really stick up for your players. And you know what? When you have a lot of players like Marner, like Nylander, like Matthews that are getting pushed around and everything, he's going to be the first one to go in that player's face and say, don't mess with them. But even VZ, watching VZ when he recently signed with the Maple Leafs, he went on NHL Network and he said that, you know, he had a really bad year in Buffalo. But basically when he went into Buffalo, he wanted to bulk up and add muscle. He wanted to build a bit of strength heading into that season. And he even said that didn't work for him. So what he's doing this offseason heading into with the Leafs, he wants to trim down even more, get a little bit lighter so he can be more agile, more faster out there and help the team out. Add a little bit more grit. And I really think you're going to see VZ return to form. Maybe you see what he did when he was with the Rangers the first couple of years. You know, I just like the way this team is constructed. Their four lines are deep. And I really do think if you have Matthews not playing with those stars, it's going to elevate his game. He's going to be a different player. You know, he's going to be more involved in the play. And you're going to see a drastic shift in all these players. They were heavily scrutinized for not sticking up for one another, not showing emotion, not being in for each other. And I think adding these players they added with their vast experience, their vast knowledge of the game in Thornton and Simmons, and VZ to an extent too. He's played for a couple of years and he's been long playoff runs and everything. So they can add a lot and offer a lot to this team. And I think it's going to really shift these young stars into changing their mentality and building a lot with this team. So I really like what Dubas did this offseason. He had a lot to do and he added a lot of good players. And I know a lot of Toronto fans were scrutinizing his moves, you know, bringing in a lot of older players. But when you bring in those older players, they offer a lot of intangibles that can teach that young talent. So I really like what Dubas did this year. You know, adding Brody on the back end, adding Bogosian as well. I didn't mention him in this, but I really like what he did. And solidifying the net minding too. I really like what he did, bringing in Dell and Hutchinson back. So I like what the Leafs did this offseason. I really do. I really like the players they added. I think you're going to see a drastic difference in their gameplay this year, and especially losing to Columbus last year in the playoffs. I think, or the play-in, whatever it was at the time. But it's gonna change the mentality of this team. They didn't lose to a team loaded with stars. They lost to a team that competes hard, that plays. Every player plays for each other. They play a hard and heavy game. And that's what the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to be this year, I have a feeling. They're going to be a harder team to compete against. They're going to play a little bit more grittier. And they're going to win and battle more some games and not just reliant on heavy offense and goal-scoring ability. So, you know, job well done by Dubas. And the Leafs are one of the teams that I'm really excited for seeing. And, you know, I really like what Jonas Siegel said in this article. It brings a lot of fruition to what it could do for Matthews' game. And it sparks a lot with other players on this team as well. So it's something to think about, especially when there's no news going around. I saw this article. I thought it'd be rather interesting to do a video on it. So comment below what you think about this. Do you think they should just go front heavy on lines and just add talent on a line, which I don't think they should do, but I do like watching that as well. But you have opportunities with that on the power play. And, you know, if you're down by a goal late in the game, that's when you do that. But I like this option. Comment below what you think about it. And as always, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Smash that like button. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the Hockey Skate Down. Join our hockey team. Thank you all so much. Have a great day. Have a great night. And take it easy.